All right, let's go ahead and do a little review today of all of our different rules and put them together because we got a quiz coming up. We need to be able to kind of put these together into kind of a package. So we're going to do some more challenging questions today, kind of using all of our skills, okay? Use all of our skills. So I want you to take a look at these first two problems. Let's take a look at the first one. So the first thing I see is that I have lots of numbers and variables, okay? So we're going to simplify as much as we can before we do anything else. We're going to go across the top, across the bottom, simplify down to as simple as we can make it. So we only have one number on top, one of each variable, and the same thing on the bottom. And then we're going to deal with negatives and the quotient rule. Okay, so let's move across the top. We have three numbers. We have a 2, a 4, and a 3, and I'm supposed to multiply those. So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So far I have a 24 on top. If I combine my x's, I have a 2, and a 1. So that would be 5 x's. My 4's, I have a 4 and a 4. So that is an 8. Okay. And I don't have anything to combine on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite those. All right. So from here, I want to deal with my negative powers. Well, I know that negative powers have to flip locations. So I'm going to cross this guy out, move it to the top, and make it positive because I know it cannot stay in the denominator. And then I'm going to write out my pieces here. So I have 24 over 3. My x's, I have an x5, an x cubed, and no more x's on the bottom. And my y's, I have a y8 and a y squared. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this. So I know that 24 divided by 3, that's 8. And that's technically on top. Well, these guys I'm adding because I'm moving horizontally. So that's going to be an x to the 8. Now, the y's I'm moving up and down, so I'm subtracting. So 8 minus 2 is 6. This one is my bigger number. So my y6 is on top. So my answer is 8. X8, Y6 on top. All right, let's go across the top again. And we see that we have a distribution, and then we're going to go across the bottom. So let's go ahead and distribute. 1, 2, 3 times. So 2, 1 times 3 is 3. X, 3 times 3 is 9. And that is a Z. If I can make my... So a Z, 2 times 3 is 6. And let's go across the bottom. So 3 plus negative 4, that's going to be a negative 1. There's no more y's, so that's a 4. And my z, 2 plus 3 is 5. So remember, when I go horizontally, I add. When I go vertically, I subtract. Okay, let's try to simplify a little more here. Now I see that I have one negative power. So this one needs to go away and move to the top. Okay, that one needs to go away. So 2 to the third, that's 8. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that alone. Now I see I have an x9, an x1, and I see that I have a y4 on the bottom, but no y's on top, and I have a z6 and my z5s. Okay, simplifying. The 8's not going to change. 9 plus 1 is 10, so I have 10 x's on top. My y4s are not going to change because there's no other numbers there. And my z's, 6 minus 5 is 1, so that leaves me with 1 z on top. Okay, go ahead and take a look at the next one. See what you can do with it. All right, let's do this. So I have a power of 1, a power of 1. I'm going to distribute 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And actually 3 times, because this is q to the 0. That's gone. It's a 1. I don't care about it. I'm going to just get rid of it. So 2, 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. P, 1 times 4 is negative 4, and m, negative 1 times negative 4 is a positive 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and rewrite. And I'm going to go again. I'm going to work across the top. So 2 to the negative 4 and 2 to the first. Remember, these are like terms. They're like bases, so I'm going to go ahead and add my powers. So 2, that would be a negative 3 because negative 4 plus 1, negative 3. My p's, I have a negative 4, a positive 3. That's a negative 1. My m's, 4 plus negative 1, that's a 3. Okay, I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer. Okay, so at this point, we need to move some things around because I see that I have negative powers. So the 2 to the negative 3, it needs to go to the bottom and become positive. This p to the first needs to go to the bottom and become positive. So now let's look at what we have again. Okay, so I have 3 multiple 2's down here at the bottom. So how many 2's would that be? That would be 1 on top, and 3 plus 1 would be 2 to the fourth. And on top, I see I only have an M3. So I've dealt with, at this point, I've dealt with this one, this one, this one, this one. And 1 and 1 for my P's, that's 2 P's. So I've dealt with those guys. The only one who's left is Q squared. Okay, so is there any more simplification I need to do? Well, I really should evaluate 2 to the fourth. So if I can't remember what 2 to the fourth is, 2 to the fourth is actually 16. So I'd have 1 m cubed, a 16, a p squared, and a q squared. Okay, so now let's take a look at the next one. So I see I have a power of 0 here. Well, I can certainly distribute to all of these, but there's just a ton of them in there. Okay, and I can also simplify inside of this first. So maybe let's start there. That might make it easier. I won't have quite as much multiplication to do. So let's simplify going horizontally. So I see I have a 2, and my h's, 1 plus 4 is 5. My j's, 2 plus negative 1 is 1. My k's, negative 2 and 4 is 2, and I still have that to the 0 power. Okay, so if I multiply everything to the 0 power, that's going to make all of those 0. Well, 2 to the 0 power is 1. H to the fifth becomes a 0 power, which is 1. So I have 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. That whole thing is gone. So I really just have a 1 on top. And I'm looking at this. Okay, so then I'm ready to just move things around. Now, is the 1 going to stay or move? It's going to stay. It's positive. What about the 2? Is it going to stay or move? Well, it has a power of 1. It is going to stay. What about the h to the negative 3? Yeah, it needs to go up. So I'm going to move it up, make it positive, cross it out. J to the negative 4, it's on the bottom. It needs to move to the top, cross it out. K to the negative 2, move it up, cross it out. And I'm done. There's nothing else I need to do on that problem. Okay, so to help you with all of these rules, here's kind of a little cheat sheet that has kind of examples worked out of all the different rules we worked on, kind of what you're supposed to do, and that kind of thing. So you might want to copy this down into your notes. That way you can refer back to it on your quiz. And yeah, we're going to go from there. We're done for today. We're done with this part of the chapter. We're going to move on to exponential growth and decay and models as we move forward in this lesson. Have a good day. Reach out to us if you're struggling.